Left engine, master starter switch on, which I'm guessing is this. At N2, oh, master starter switch. I never really got to turn on the engines in this one. Well, it did not mention to change the fuel cutoff. Is the fuel still cut off? Fuel was still cut off. Well, it isn't anymore. Well, fuel pumps are on, but they're not turning on. So, you know what? I'm just going to do it the easy way. Control E. Engine 1 is turning on. Let's turn on the engine's generator. It is on because, well, I think it automatically turned on, I'm not sure. Engine 2 is turning on as well. I'll turn on its generator. Good. Turned off the fuel pumps. The engines don't need them anymore. APU generator. APU off. Hello, APU. There, off. Good. Now we can proceed. Before taxi checklist, nav lights. Nav lights? This thing doesn't seem to have nav lights. It has rotating beacon lights. Has taxi lights, which we're also supposed to turn on. Nav lights. I don't really see any nav lights. Strobe lights, logo lights, rotating beacon lights, but no nav lights, so let's scratch that. Heading indicator, altimeters, set. Standby instruments set, that automatically does this. Radios and avionics set for departure. Okay. Autopilot set. Let's do this now. Altitude to 31,000 feet. Our cruise. Heading. Set. Speed. Let's set it to 270. And flight director on. Flight director on. Let's set this to 2000. Auto brake RTO. Can't really see anything from here. Auto brake RTO. Elevator trim set for takeoff. Don't really need to do this now. And request taxi clearance.
Lisbon ground, world travel 8731 with Oscar, ready to taxi IFR. World travel 8731, taxi.
That's gonna be one long ass taxi.
Taxiway Alpha 2, Romeo 1, Romeo 2, Sierra 1, Sierra 2, Sierra 3, Sierra 4. Contact tower on 1.
Oh my.
0.905 when ready.
That's gonna be one long ass taxi.
Taxiing full short, runway 21. Via taxiway Alpha 2, Romeo 1, Romeo
Oh,
Sierra 2, Sierra 3, Sierra 4.
yes, you ass.
873-1.
Alright. Let us start pushback by the invisible pushback vehicle. And when we are far enough back, we'll start taxiing to the runway. Okay, I think we are far enough now. Alright. Throttling up the engines. I'm just looking at the checklist and I'm seeing it does not mention passenger signs. It's quite odd. I'm going to turn them on myself. I know it looks like we're skimming the building, but in reality, we are not. Okay. Good, on course, taxiing towards the runway. The taxi checklist doesn't really have that much on it, so it's pretty negligible. Parking brake release. Well, otherwise we're not going to be taxiing. Duh. So, before takeoff checklist, parking brake set, throttle idle. Yes, well obviously, elevator trim set for takeoff. Flaps 5 degrees. Spoilers retracted. Flight instruments, engine instruments, takeoff data. Yes, we'll check our takeoff data before we take off. Nav equipment, landing lights on, taxi lights off, strobe light on, pitot heat on, DI as required, transponder on, and then we have to request takeoff clearance. Only then. We're a bit too fast, so gonna throttle down the engines quite a little bit, and the laptop's turning off again. I should have touched the touchpad or something, but never mind. I'm gonna be attempting to taxi and type in the password. Password typed in. And I've done it before we reached the turn. That's good. Yes, Sierra, Sierra, Sierra. We know. That's the taxiways we have to use. And there's a car there. I hate cars. I really hate cars now that one's bloody rammed me. Okay, we're getting close to the runway. We're too fast again, so I'm throttling down. And we are, I think, number 2 for takeoff after this A321 over there. Okay, we have to taxi across this runway. I think there's a Cessna ahead of us as well. Yay, happy times. This is going to be a fun taxi. So fun, I'm gonna speed up the simulation rate to 2 times. So exciting, I don't want to miss a second of it. Cessna Skyhawk.
Cessna Foxtrot Juliet Romeo, hold position, caution the going, hold position, Cessna Foxtrot Juliet. Cessna
Well,
Foxtrot
that Cessna they're talking about is certainly not that Cessna.
Juliet Romeo.
It's probably a Cessna behind us somewhere. The throttle lever on my joystick isn't very sensitive. Neither is the rudder. So I have to be really careful with it. And we're making progress. We're nearly to the runway here. And this is turning out to be not the most exciting first portion of any LP I've had. So excuse me for that.
Cessna Foxtrot Juliet
Don't mind
Romeo,
that.
hold position, caution, Cessna Foxtrot Juliet.
I think there's a Cessna behind us. Pretty sure that there's a Cessna behind us now.
World travel 116, cleared for takeoff, runway 21, world travel 1.
Alright. The A321 is cleared for takeoff. Turning down to normal simulation rate. Let's set the flaps to 5 already.